Hi, I hope you do remember me. My name is Anthony Colon. I'm going to talk about Chapter 11. It is by far one of the shortest chapters in the book, but it is packed with tons of knowledge and information that I want you to hear. My goal is to take this information and put it into an audible format, so you can not only hear it, but I hope you enjoy it as well. Now, I want you to keep your book by your side. I have mine right here, and make sure that you're ready to crack it open to Chapter 11, because we're going to be doing some of the enunciations with the French words that they have. Now, I'm going to speak it to the best of my ability. If you want to join in, feel free to treat this like Dora the Explorer, just for a little bit of fun. I will also put a couple of sites that I grabbed alongside this to help you learn and understand some of the text a little bit better. I do hope you enjoyed this lecture, and please talk about it in the comment section. Tell me how you liked it or didn't like it. The food service industry is one of the oldest establishments in the world. Analysts say that 20% of the spending in the food service industry is derived from travel and tourism. It is considered to be one of the three basic components of travel and tourism, alongside lodging and transportation. But it is also considered to be one of the most volatile, as it is the riskiest in terms of longevity. Many businesses in this industry have issues staying open due to many different factors, like the ones I posted in the article below, and also ones we will be talking about later. Today, aside from agriculture, restaurants provide more jobs than any other industry sector in the world. The food service industry has a very rich history too, as it can be dated all the way back to the Romans. The Romans had issued mileage intervals along their roads where they could stop, pick up food, rest, and fresh horses. Marco Polo even cited this rich history in 13th century China, where they were a little bit more advanced. At this time, they had fast food, taverns, hotels, and tea houses that served barbecue and beverages. Going more into the future, 16th century England had a more commonplace approach known as ordinaries. Ordinaries were meals given once a day to the people staying at their inns and taverns. In 17th century England, they created men-only establishments where food and beverage were served in a more communal setting. But more importantly, in 19th century England, it became natural where men and women could both dine separate from other individuals in a proper restaurant format, which is more commonly used today. Modern gastronomy, which is eating customs, and dining derive their roots from France. The word restaurant actually comes from the French word that describes food to have restorative or healing properties. France provided meals in cooking shops, which were solely meant to create takeout food where people could grab their food and dine outside. Then slowly but surely they moved the tables inside, allowing people to dine on another level. Thus, those terms, cooking shop and takeout, came to fruition, and France became accredited with bringing modern dining to a new height. La Grande Taverne de Londres opened in 1782 in Paris. It was one of the first businesses to garner a large following for its food and wine. In 1789 through 1799, the French Revolution began and caused chaos and disturbance throughout the country. With more issues pressing the country, people fled and spread the cultures to places like England and even America. As the ruling nobility lost their power, their chefs too became entrepreneurs and cooked elsewhere. French restaurants first appeared in America in 1794 in Boston, Massachusetts, and in 1800 in New York. But the development of fine dining in America isn't exactly due to the French. The Delmonico brothers from Switzerland came to America to open up a pastry shop where they had baked goods, desserts, wine, and a bunch of other products. Their nephew, Lorenzo, which they had brought to the country, had brought even more to the table, as he had created a succession of upscale restaurants throughout New York. Marie-Antoine Carême and Georges-Auguste Escoffier both reinvigorated French cuisine in the early 19th century. Together, they created new cuisines and orderly course menus and cooking techniques widely used today. Now, here comes the fun part. If you would all open your books to page 298, I will teach you a little bit about the wordings of French cuisine. These words are based off the 1903 all-time classic cookbook Le Guide Culinaire, which was written by Escoffier himself. I do almost guarantee that you've heard these words before in some context, whether it be cooking or somewhere else. But I also advise you to use them because they do definitely make you sound intellectual. A la carte is a term that means items priced separately. For example, you'll see this on menus. And as an example, I gave you airplane menus, how they have many different types of foods, whether that be peanuts, beverages. Aperitif is known as a small alcoholic drink served before a meal, usually in the form of a cocktail or even a shot. A buffet is probably a term you've heard before. It's food set out for easy access and informal service, and a lot of the time, and you can actually find these pretty much anywhere. The main mall, for instance, has a place called Hometown Buffet, which is just that. Now, the chef de cuisine is the chief or master of the kitchen. There's a lot of the time they're referred to as head chef in American restaurants, but if it's a French-based restaurant, you'll usually hear chef de cuisine. The entree is the main dish, and you usually see this at most full-service restaurants. Well, they'll have a full-out menu, and they'll have the entrees, appetizers. Now, the next word is hard to look at, but it's actually very easy to pronounce. Hors d'oeuvres. What they are they're small appetizers that you can get alongside of a meal. Usually finger foods, very small things. The maitre d' is the dining room boss. So as the chef de cuisine is the head of the cooking area, the maitre d' is head of the whole front to make sure everyone is happy with their food and everything else. Now, here's one of my favorites, the pièce de résistance. And you don't have to say it like the pièce de résistance. I mean, it's somewhat said like that, but it's defined by the book as a substantial dish or an outstanding meal. Now, you also find people using this to define a final term, like something in a finale or in like the best part of a show or something of that nature. And here's the pièce de résistance, and then boom, that's what they show you, something fantastic. Now, I'm jumping a little bit ahead, but the last term that's in bold is table d'hôte. And what a table d'hôte is a complete meal of several courses offered at a fixed price. Now, that fixed price is in turn called the prefix. So these words are going together, prefix and table d'hôte. Now, the next word is puree. A puree is a mash or a thick soup. Often you'll find this used in many ways. It can be topping off some meat as a sauce, or it can just be a soup in itself. Now, a sauté is fried. The term means fried by tossing in a pan. And you find that not only that French use this, but there are many other different styles of cooking that use it, Korean and Chinese also being one of them. The soup du jour is a soup only served on one specific day of the week. Now, you can find these in certain restaurants in order to add variety and in order to generate revenue on a day that's slow, to add something special.